let's draw something slightly more complicated for this. And we're gonna pick a 32 by 32 size. And this time we're gonna draw a dagger. Make a something like this. So we can start with something like this, and then we just turn this thing diagonally. So wait, diagonally? Yeah, we turn it diagonally. So now we have a shape that is like a base for our dagger. Then we can take our diagonal tool. Whoa, this is trippy as hell. What the hell? So we're gonna add more to this dagger. We're gonna like keep adding a line down here. I'm turning this off. Right. And we're gonna make a dagger shape. So this is like our base, and this is like the hilt for the dagger. Something like this. Oops. Just want to make a shape a bit more even. And now we're gonna start sculpting it again. Okay, actually I'll fill this in. So dagger, it has a blade on one side, and that's why we had to make this side of the blade a little bit bigger. And then we kind of like just make this part a bit more rounded like that. And we could also just kind of like cut this part off, because the dagger, if we're trying to balance the hilt, then the other side, like the other edge of this blade, is a bit, what's the word for not sharp? I don't know what's the word, but something like that. Maybe we can do a little bit more like this. Yes, dull. Thank you. You can make it this side of the blade a bit thinner. So we're suggesting like a dull blade. That looks like a kitchen knife. And we can also just make this part a bit bigger. And then of course we can add in this thing. It's like a protection thingy. I'll make this part thicker because I don't know, I feel like it. There you go. We can add this in like that. Yep. And then actually I'll make this thing slight bit thicker. I don't know why I'm like, make it thicker. Let's make it even thicker.
Extra thick!
The tasteful thickness. And like that. I probably want to push this thing up a little bit more to have a bit more area so we can actually hold the dagger. Yeah. For this dagger right here, we can see that this line here is flat. So the pixel alignment is very even here. It's like one pixel after one pixel after one pixel. And it's just lined up on this side. And for this kind of shape, it's a bit different because we're making a kind of like a curve shape. So if we use our circle tool and just do this, you can see that the pixel placement is a bit uneven, but it gradually changes. So this is like a long line, and it gets shorter and it gets shorter, and then it just kind of like switch. Well, this will be a better illustration for that. So it gets shorter, it gets shorter, it gets shorter, and then it switch direction, and then it's keep going like that. So similarly, you can see here, this part is very long and then it gets shorter, about same, and then shorter, 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 and then it change. And then something like that around this area. You can make it like this. So you can see that it's a bit more even. We don't really have to get very technical about the pixels, but just you guys can just see this as like a suggestion for cleaner shape, because our goal in this part is just to get a very clear silhouette. Let's color this one. Yay. I'll just move it to the side. And so for our dagger, we would use the same kind of blade color, but probably a darker shade, just to kind of distinguish it from the other sword. And then we can make the hilt also a wood color. Let's just pick this wood color from here, and then we just kind of like divide it into two, somewhere here and there. Just do something like that. Just separate it. Maybe we can since I'm having a very dark background, I want a color that's like a bit brighter, so I'll probably pick something like this. You can test with the different colors with this dagger. Yeah, this dagger is super thick. Like I it's like a massive size dagger. I think it's like the fuck. Wait, I'm so terrible with names. It's like in DMC. What is the weapon name? What is Dante's weapon? It's the Sparta. It's the sword of Sparta from DMC5. Is that? Yeah, the bonking dagger. Yes, it's a thick ass dagger. We can make a thin dagger. I don't know, like maybe just here. Actually, let me just do this. It's thinner. It's thinner now. The dagger is thinner. It's all good now. Light is shining from this direction, and a blade, like a dagger blade, is gonna be on this side, and on this side is gonna be the dull side of the dagger. So we're gonna cover that, and then we're gonna have this whole entire area over here in the light. And we can also do the same for the bottom part of the dagger. I kind of want to do something like this to like separate because usually daggers are kind of like this. It separates the top part and the lower part of the dagger, and then since this is like a tube shape, half of it can be in the shadow. So something like this. It's kind of coming to shape. I can make this thing a bit more rounded. So something like that. And then maybe I'll start tweaking. Maybe I'll start tweaking. Wait, I think I should do this for the like make this part a bit thinner. Make this part a bit thicker. I'm just tweaking over here. Oh, I can also, since it's like a light from that side, I can also just color one side of that. So yeah, so it's a bit, just a little bit, just a teensy bit, just teensy little bit, like that. So we can also do a different kind of lighting. So instead of doing it from this side like this, you can also have like a top-down lighting. So something like this. We're gonna steal this white from there, and then we're gonna color this surface over here with a light color. So something like this. You can color it like this. Already it looks kind of better. Just introducing more shades to things just makes it look entirely better. Who would have thought? We could also give this side a bit of a darker shade. So something like this. Just go maybe slightly darker. So it gives a bit more shading to the object. Why am I coloring here is that I just put it next to this part so it adds a bit more contrast. For example, before, between this shade and this shade, it looks kind of flat because there's not that much contrast. And this is what I mean before by changing the shadow to a darker color, by the way, is that you kind of pull this shadow to a slightly darker shadow. Actually, I think I have to do this thing as well, which is add in an outline so that we can see the object better. Just hit Shift O. That's how you access the outline, by the way. You just select the object and you hit Shift O, and then you pick, like, for example, I'll just pick like black for now, and voila. Oh wait, is it on the outer? Okay, I don't like that. Yes, and then you can hit like inside, so now the outline is inside, and then you hit OK and be like, that's a blade. That's a blade. No. Very nice. Now that it kind of like messes with the shape, I kind of want to change it a little bit so it looks a bit better with the outline. Sometimes the outline kind of changes the whole entire thing. So something like this, like that. Just roughly. Actually, I did like it when the blade was a bit thicker on this side, so I'll just redraw that a little bit. I like this more. This looks slightly better. Okay, so just let's just go back to shading a little bit. So I'm adding this dark color here to add a bit more contrast to the object. So what I'm doing here is I'm curving this, so I'm making everything curve like this. So it looks like we're viewing it from this kind of perspective instead of having like a straight line like this, like this, like this. So it looks a bit more, even more 3D, you know. Adding curves just makes it more 3D. As long as you guys make all these curves just kind of like parallel to one another, then it would make sense. Because if you do something like this, and then this one's like this, and this one's like this, that will look a bit weird. Like it's hard for us to kind of like connect all the dots and see like what perspective we're looking at, because it's just too much. This looks kind of boring. This honestly looks kind of boring. So what I would do, we're gonna shift it a little bit. We're gonna make it like this color. So this is kind of like the half tones, I guess it is called half tones. I can't really call it another way. So like we're gonna introduce half tones here, but it's like a very bright kind of no, not bright, saturated, a very saturated one, a very saturated half tone. So it adds more hue to it. It's like I'm using the same shade as this one, maybe a bit down, a bit more. So like that, so it adds a little bit more shading. I want to take a really bright highlight, and I'm just gonna run it along this line. So it's like a separation between the really bright highlight and the really dark shadow. We need to add in a highlight right in the middle like this. And what I usually do is I would, for example, here, in between here, I would also just put a highlight there, put a highlight here, just kind of go in a little bit, and then go out, and pull it down here. And then I'll just use this highlight because it goes into the darker area-ish. So I'm just gonna use this color as a like a highlight divider instead of using that really bright one. Let's go up here, and since this area is like straight down here, I'm gonna do this so the blade looks a bit sharper. And I could even do something like this. Actually, I do kind of like it with the sides. It's like a bit more yeah, and there's like a little shape here. There. Something like this. I kind of like it when there's this area is a bit bigger and you can kind of see it shining through. And yeah, I can even pull this highlight down here and make this part of it also highlighted, and then this part down here also highlighted like that. I could also just give this part a bit of a reflective light. Like we have light coming from the back, so I can also give it a little bit of a reflective light. Just like this. Very, very simple. So, also, I'm doing something here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm basically adding a middle shade right in between some of these pixels. It's kind of like I'm trying to blend it in, but just with one pixel. Like I'm blending this side with this side, but with one pixel only. And well, this entire time we haven't really shaded our wood, so I think we should do that. We should shade our wood a little bit. So I would just pick a darker color like this, and then I will go in the middle like this. So to separate this part and this part, and then I would take a brighter. Oh wait, no. Let me just take the same color and just do one line here a little bit. See how I had like a little gap here? Like a little bright gap here? Let me just zoom it in for you guys. See, I have a little bright gap here. It's kind of like creating that wood texture where you can, it's like lines like this. But it's very subtle. It's very, very subtle. Sometimes you just need 2 pixels to kind of like create that kind of effect. Like for example, like this, right? Just do this and it looks kind of like wood-ish texture. Like that. That looks wood-ish. I don't even have to do this. Like just this where you feel is kind of like wood. Because our eye is just going to connect this line anyway. So yeah. Okay, just do something like that. And I'll just add a slight highlight to the side because this side is definitely brighter. So I'm going to take a slightly lighter color. I'm going to highlight it there. And I'm going to also highlight it here. Right there on the blade. Yep, like that. And yeah, that's basically it.